The galaxy was watching. Across thousands of systems, screens lit up with the same image. Commander Xalvor of the Core Empire, standing tall in his silver battle armor, smiling as if he had already won a war that hadn't even begun. His ship, the Black Fang, floated above a quiet moon in Sector 9. Reporters from different planets gathered around, floating cameras buzzing like insects. Xalvor looked directly at the main camera and spoke. "Earthlings," he said with a grin, "are nothing more than loud insects. They build toys and call them ships. They still use metal in space. Metal. Primitive. Weak. Laughable." The crowd laughed with him. Even the galactic news anchors chuckled. Earth had always stayed quiet in the Council of Planets. They barely spoke in meetings. They refused most technology offers. No one had ever seen a true Earth military ship. So the galaxy believed the same thing. Earth was behind. Earth was easy. Earth was pathetic. Then a beep interrupted the broadcast. A tech officer on Xalvor's ship looked confused. He pressed a few buttons, then stood up quickly. "Commander, an unknown signal is approaching." Xalvor rolled his eyes. "Another broken Earth satellite." "No, sir. It's not a satellite. It's a life form. Alone. One human. No ship." The room went silent. "One human," Xalvor repeated, "coming through deep space alone." "Yes, Commander. They are not inside a ship. They are flying alone." Laughter exploded again. Xalvor laughed so hard, he almost dropped his glass. "They're sending a person," he said, wiping tears from his eyes. "Oh, this is perfect. Earth has finally lost its mind." He turned back to the cameras. "Let it be known, Earth has responded to my challenge with a single person. I will meet this brave fool myself. I must see the face of the weakest warrior in the galaxy." An hour later, the hangar of the Black Fang stood ready. Elite alien guards stood in perfect lines. Reporters filled the upper balcony, eager to record the moment. Then something appeared. A soft white light shimmered in the air. No ship, no explosion, just light. Then, a shape, a figure. She stepped forward out of the light. A young human woman, no older than 30. Short black hair, pale skin, wearing a simple dark outfit. No armor, no weapon, no tech. Her hands were empty. The hangar temperature dropped. A few soldiers shifted uncomfortably. One dropped his weapon by mistake. Another whispered, "Something's wrong." Xalvor stepped forward boldly. "Welcome, Earth Girl," he said loudly. "You have courage, I give you that." She looked at him and smiled softly. "Thank you for meeting me, Commander." Her voice was calm. Too calm. It echoed strangely in the large space. "I must ask," Xalvor continued, "what exactly are you? Diplomat? Spy? Are you here to beg for Earth's safety?" "No," she said. "I'm here to give you a message." "Oh," he said, amused. "And what message would that be?" "Don't underestimate Earth." The lights flickered. All the screens in the hangar glitched for 2 seconds. Just static and then black. The guards raised their weapons. Xalvor narrowed his eyes. "Was that your doing?" "I warned you," she replied, still calm. One of the soldiers stepped toward her. "You're not allowed to move further," he shouted. She looked at him, just looked. He screamed, a short, sharp scream, then collapsed. His eyes were wide open, but he wasn't there anymore. His body was breathing, but his mind was gone. The other guards froze. "What did you do?" Xalvor demanded, his hand reaching for his energy blade. "I told you," she said again. "Don't underestimate Earth." She walked forward slowly. No one dared to stop her. "You thought Earth was behind," she continued. "You were wrong. Earth stayed quiet, watched, learned, and when we were ready, we sent me." Xalvor's voice was shaky now. What? What are you? She stopped just a few feet from him. I'm Mira. Just that. One name. She looked around the hangar. This ship is impressive. But I've already disabled your engines. Your weapons will not respond. And the command room is now locked with a code only I know. How? How did you do that? Salvor shouted. She tilted her head. You thought humans only used metal ships. That was a trick. You never saw the real Earth. Until now. Suddenly, every monitor in the hangar turned on. The Earth symbol appeared. A voice echoed from the screens. This was the final test. Earth is done hiding. The hangar stayed silent. Commander Xalvor couldn't move. His hand was still hovering near his weapon, but now he didn't dare draw it. Around him, his strongest guards stood frozen in fear, unsure what to do. One of their own still lay on the floor, alive, but broken. His eyes blinked slowly. His mind was gone. And the woman? She stood calm, quiet, like this was just another day. Xalvor cleared his throat and spoke again, louder than before, trying to sound brave. You attacked my soldier. That's an act of war. Mira turned to him slowly. No. He touched me without asking. That was his mistake. Xalvor flinched. Something about her voice. It wasn't angry. It wasn't loud. But it carried weight, like a mountain pressing down. He forced a laugh. So, you're psychic. Some kind of mind witch. She shook her head. I am human, but not like the ones you studied. Earth changed. You didn't notice because we wanted it that way. He frowned. You expect me to believe Earth hid this level of power? Mira stepped forward. With each step, the air grew heavier, like invisible pressure pressing down on everyone. The guards began sweating. One dropped his blaster. Another quietly stepped back. You don't have to believe it, she said, but you will feel it. Suddenly, the lights in the hangar shut off. Completely dark. Gasps echoed through the room. Then a pale blue glow lit up the center of the space. It came from Mira's eyes. The monitors around them flickered back to life, but they no longer showed Earth's symbol. Now they showed her, a close-up of her calm face, speaking in perfect unison with her voice. I am Mira, born of Earth, product of Project Echomind. Xalvor whispered, Echomind. She nodded. Years ago, Earth started building weapons no one could detect. Not ships, not bombs, not machines, but minds. We trained people, not just for battle, but for influence, control, silence. We created warriors who could end wars without lifting a hand. The screen showed old human scientists working in hidden labs, children meditating, some of them glowing, floating, thinking, not moving, but breaking machines with thought. We never needed big fleets, Mira said. We just needed one of us. Xalvor's second-in-command, a sharp-eyed alien named Durin, stepped forward. Commander, I suggest we trap her now. Use full containment shields. Xalvor nodded. Do it. Durin activated the command. A giant energy dome, bright red and humming, surrounded Mira in an instant. Xalvor smirked. You're not going anywhere now. Mira looked around at the shield. She reached her hand out, touched the red barrier, then smiled. I see. You think that will hold me. Without warning, the entire dome flickered. Then it disappeared with a soft pop, like a bubble bursting. The entire crew stepped back, eyes wide. Mira stepped forward again. Your technology is strong, but your mind defenses are weak. You never trained for psychic war. You never thought minds could be weapons. Xalvor's mouth was dry. You came here, alone. Why? Mira looked straight into his eyes. Because Earth is giving you a choice. Xalvor hesitated. Choice. Yes, she said. Surrender your hate. Stop mocking Earth. Accept peace. Or... She waved her hand. The screens changed again. this time showing the core empire's capital city. Then something terrifying happened. All the ships in orbit, over 400 core warships, turned off. Their lights died. Their power shut down. The weapons locked. Gasps echoed through the hangar again. Zalvor grabbed his comlink. "What's happening to our fleet?" No answer. Mira's voice answered instead, still calm. "They're sleeping. I gave them a nap. You shut down our entire fleet. From here." She nodded. Project Echoman was Earth's answer to future wars. We trained 100 of us. I'm just the first one you've met. A silence heavier than fear filled the hangar. Mira gave a soft smile. Earth isn't angry. We're not here to destroy. We just want respect. But if you choose war... She didn't finish the sentence. She didn't need to. Everyone understood. Commander Zalvor sat in his command chair, trembling. Mira stood in the center of the bridge, calm, hands behind her back, like she was taking a quiet walk through a garden. His top officers whispered among themselves. Some looked at the exit doors. Others stared at her, trying to understand how one human could disable an entire fleet without touching a thing. But Zalvor was not ready to give up. Not yet. "Enough of this," he shouted, slamming his fist on the armrest. "You think I'll kneel just because of tricks? I don't fear Earth, and I don't fear you." Mira tilted her head slightly, like a teacher watching a child throw a tantrum. "You should." The lights dimmed again, just slightly, but it was enough to send another wave of fear through the crew. Zalvor stood up. "We are the core empire. We don't bend to threats." One of his lieutenants stepped forward, whispering into his ear, "Commander, maybe we should negotiate. We don't know her limits." Silence. Zalvor growled. He turned to Mira. "Let me guess, you want me to sign some treaty? Beg Earth for forgiveness." Mira took a slow breath. "Earth wants peace, but peace requires respect. And you've spent years laughing at us." "I laughed because you deserved it," Zalvor said. "You never showed strength." "No," Mira said softly. "We hid it." Suddenly, the screens on the bridge showed a timeline. Fast images of Earth's quiet growth, small tech improvements, peaceful meetings, hidden research centers. Each image proved that Earth had been watching, learning, while the galaxy mocked them. "We were listening when you called us monkeys in metal boxes," Mira said. "We heard your jokes. We watched you dismiss our voice in the Galactic Council. But Earth didn't respond with anger. We waited." Zalvor growled. "Waited for what?" She looked him in the eye. "For the right time." A loud alarm rang across the ship. One of the tech officers shouted, "Commander, something's happening to our databanks." "What now?" Zalvor snapped. The officer turned pale. "She's in our system. She's taking everything." "What do you mean, everything?" "All fleet plans, research, defense codes, even our communication logs. Everything is being copied by her." Zalvor turned to Mira, his face full of rage. "You're stealing from the core empire." "No," she replied. "I'm reminding you. Power is not just strength. It's control. Knowledge. You believed Earth was behind. Now we know more about your empire than you do." Panic spread across the bridge. Officers whispered urgently. Some stepped away from their stations, unsure what to do next. Zalvor pointed at Mira. "I'll have your name burned across this galaxy as a criminal." Mira took a slow step toward him. "Do that. But before you decide, watch this." She snapped her fingers. The screen showed the core empire's main military base, a huge fortress surrounded by defense drones and energy walls. Suddenly, the energy walls dropped. The drones froze in place, one by one. Then, something shocking happened. A young core child walked past the guards, holding a white flower. None of the security systems stopped him. Mira looked at Zalvor. "That boy is your nephew. You don't even know his schedule. I do. Zalvor's face turned red with rage and fear. How dare you use him to threaten me? I didn't touch him, Mira said calmly. I protected him. He could walk through your most secure base, and no one stopped him. That is how weak your empire really is, when you don't understand the kind of war we bring. For the first time, Zalvor sat back down. Slowly, Mira continued, Earth is not here to destroy. But if we are ever attacked, we will not fight with bombs or ships. We will fight with minds. And by the time your people realize what's happening, it will already be over. The crew looked at one another. Most of them had seen dozens of battles, but none had ever felt this kind of silence, this cold, heavy truth. Mira turned and walked to the center of the bridge. You still have a choice, Commander. You can open peace talks. We'll leave you in peace. Zalvor didn't speak. Or, she said, you can ignore this warning. And Earth will send me again, or someone stronger. She raised her hand. A soft light surrounded her. Then, she vanished. No ship, no signal trail, just gone. The bridge remained still. The air was heavy. No one dared speak for a full minute. Finally, one of the younger officers whispered, Commander, what do we do? Zalvor looked at the blank screen in front of him, and for the first time in his long life, he didn't have an answer. The news spread faster than light. Every ship in the core fleet, every station, and every outpost now whispered one name, Mira. Not the Earth Girl, not a human spy, just Mira. Across the galaxy, leaders of other empires watched the leaked footage from Zalvor's flagship. No one could explain how she shut down an entire fleet or how she vanished without a trace. But they all saw it. They saw her calm face, her words, her power. And they felt something they had never felt about Earth before. Fear. On a planet called Varnak, the ruling council of the Trezeri Union gathered in secret. High above their planet, defense shields were raised, and stealth satellites scanned space every second. Supreme Chancellor Rekith, an old alien with silver eyes, looked around the room. How did we not know Earth had this power? His science minister, Juro, answered quietly, because they never showed it. We believed they were behind. But they were waiting. Rekath nodded slowly. And this Mira, what is she? Juro shivered. I watched the data 3 times. She is not a weapon. She is a message. A message. Juro's voice dropped. Earth is done being ignored. Back on Zalvor's ship, the commander hadn't left his quarters in 2 days. He sat alone in silence, watching the moment Mira disabled his fleet, over and over again. His pride had been crushed, and his power exposed as an illusion. A soft knock came from the door. His second in command, Durin, entered carefully. Sir, the council wants your report. Zalvor didn't look away from the screen. What should I say? That one woman made the entire core empire look weak. Durin said nothing. Zalvor finally turned. His eyes were red from sleepless nights. She told me they trained 100 like her. If that's true. Durin nodded. Then Earth has already won a war we didn't know we were fighting. Meanwhile, in Earth's hidden base, deep under the Atlantic Ocean, Mira stood before a group of 10 others, all dressed in simple black uniforms. No ranks, no medals, just focus. A tall man walked into the room. His name was Director Harlan, head of Project Echomind. He looked at Mira with calm pride. You did well. Mira nodded. He didn't listen. No, Harlan said, but now the galaxy knows. The others stepped forward. Young, bold, male, female, each one different, but all of them powerful. Each one trained to break fleets with thoughts, disable planets with a whisper, and protect Earth without firing a single bullet. Mira looked around. What's next? Harlan looked serious. Other empires will panic. Some will prepare for war. Some will try to copy our tech. Others may beg for peace. Mira asked, "Do we speak again?" "Only if they cross the line." In the Galactic Council chambers, panic took hold. Alien ambassadors shouted over each other. Some demanded Earth be banned. Others called for talks. A few even suggested surrender, just in case Earth was truly that powerful. Ambassador Velek from the Uran Empire stood and raised his voice. "We all mocked Earth. We called them weak. But tell me now, who among us could stand against one of their Echomine soldiers?" Silence followed. Then he added, "And how many more are watching us right now?" No one answered, because deep down, they all feared the truth. Back on Earth, Mira stood by the ocean, her feet in the sand. The sky was quiet, peaceful. Children laughed nearby. The world hadn't changed for them. But Mira knew better. Everything had changed. For years, Earth was seen as nothing, a weak little planet on the edge of the galaxy. Now, they were the ones being watched, respected, feared. She looked up at the stars, and she whispered, "Next time, send someone smarter." For months, the galaxy held its breath. The core empire, once feared by all, became a shell of its former self. Its ships sat idle, its commanders unsure of how to fight an invisible enemy, an enemy they couldn't see or touch. Meanwhile, Earth had gone quiet. Too quiet. No attacks, no threats, no demands, just peace. But deep beneath the oceans, in hidden facilities across the globe, something was happening. Mira's warning had been heard, and the world was preparing, not for an open war, but for something much more dangerous, a silent war. On the planet Oran, within the dense jungles of the Raxian Empire, Commander Zoltav paced back and forth in his war room. He stared at a large holographic map of the galaxy, his fingers tapping the surface in frustration. "The humans have been silent for too long," he growled. "They're planning something." His second-in-command, Captain Riven, looked up from his datapad. "Sir, we have received no communications, no signals, no signs of any new weapon." Zoltav stopped pacing. "Exactly." His eyes narrowed. "They've learned to be quiet, and that's what terrifies me." Riven shifted uncomfortably. "You think they've already infiltrated us?" Zoltav didn't answer immediately. He didn't need to. The truth was clear. Mira's warning had sent a ripple through every empire. The humans were no longer the laughing stock of the galaxy. They were a shadow lurking in the darkness, and no one knew when they would strike. At the core empire's homeworld, Zalvor sat in a dark room. The lights in his quarters flickered, casting long shadows across the walls. He had not slept in weeks. The memory of Mira's eyes, so calm and certain, haunted him. Her words echoed in his mind. "You'll never see us coming." His hands trembled as he poured a drink from a bottle. He could still hear the soft hum of the ship, a constant reminder of his empire's fragility. What have we become? Zalvor had once ruled with pride, crushing weaker species with ease, but now he was afraid of something he couldn't even touch. A knock at the door broke his thoughts. "Enter," he said hoarsely. The door slid open, and a familiar figure stepped inside. Duran, his trusted lieutenant. "Commander," Duran began, his voice cautious, "we've received an encrypted message from Earth." Zalvor's heart skipped a beat. He hadn't heard from Earth since Mira's visit. "What does it say?" Duran hesitated. "It's a warning. They're monitoring us." Zalvor leaned forward. "What kind of warning?" Duran pressed a button on his pad, and a small hologram appeared. The message was short, but its impact was clear. "We know where you are. We know what you're planning. If you cross the line again, it will be the last mistake you make." The hologram flickered out, leaving a heavy silence in the room. Zalvor's eyes burned with frustration. "What do they want? Peace?" "No," Duran said quietly. "They want control. They want us to fear them." Zalvor clenched his fists. They already do. On Earth, Mira stood at the edge of a new project, hidden in the mountains of Alaska. The cold air whipped around her, but she didn't feel it. Her mind was focused on the task ahead. The world was divided. Some governments wanted to use Earth's new power to negotiate. Others wanted to push for more, show the galaxy just how powerful they had become. But Mira knew the truth. The real war wasn't going to be fought with bombs or guns. It would be fought in the shadows. The Earth would never be the aggressor, but if the galaxy came after them again, they would be ready. They would fight with minds, not missiles, with intelligence, not violence. And most importantly, they would never let anyone see them coming. Mira turned to face the small team behind her, scientists, engineers, and strategists, all working in silence. They had been busy for months, preparing Earth's new advantage. "What's next?" Mira asked. One of the engineers, a young woman with short brown hair, looked up from her station. "The final phase. We'll have full control of every fleet in the galaxy in less than 48 hours. Mira nodded. "Do it. Make sure we stay under the radar." The woman hesitated. "Are we sure we want to be this careful? We could end this right now, with just one show of strength." "No," Mira said firmly. "We'll show strength when it's needed. Until then, we wait. The galaxy is afraid, but they don't know why yet, and that's what will give us the advantage." Back in the Raxian Empire, Zoltav sat in his command center once again, staring at his map. He had spent hours searching for any sign of the humans, any signal, any trace, but there was nothing. Then, a new message flashed on his screen. It was from the Galactic Council. "Council emergency," it said. "A new threat has been detected. All fleets must prepare for immediate deployment." Zoltav's heart pounded in his chest. He knew what this meant. The galaxy was about to learn what it truly meant to face Earth's hidden power. And this time, no one would be laughing. The galaxy was on the edge of chaos. The Galactic Council had ordered all fleets to mobilize, fearing Earth's silent power. No one knew exactly what Mira and her team had done, but the sudden tension was undeniable. Space was quiet, but every ship, every base, and every station was filled with suspicion. The fear that had once been directed at the core empire now belonged to Earth. On a remote station at the edge of the Vizara system, an emergency meeting was called. The leaders of several alien empires stood around a large table, each one nervous and uncertain. "Do we wait for them to strike?" asked Tarkan, the leader of the Frolan Empire, "or do we go after them first?" Zoltav, still haunted by the thought of Mira's warning, clenched his fists. "We can't afford to act rashly. Earth is not the enemy we thought we could defeat. We've seen their ability to control technology, to disappear without a trace. We are out of our depth." One of the leaders, a stern-looking alien called Yelka from the Kernek Empire, sneered. "We should crush them before they grow stronger. This is our chance to take Earth while they are still weak." Zoltav glared at her. "Weak? You saw what happened to the core fleet. You saw what they did to me." Yelka turned silent. "Then what do you suggest?" Tarkan asked Zoltav. "Do we just sit here and wait for Earth to attack?" Zoltav stared at the hologram of Earth's solar system on the table. "We wait. For now." On Earth, Mira and her team stood in their underground command center, hidden from the eyes of the galaxy. The calm before the storm felt heavy in the air. Mira knew what was coming, and so did everyone else in the room. Director Harlan entered, his face as serious as ever. "The Council is on high alert. It won't be long before they make their move." Mira nodded, her expression calm. "Let them. It will be a mistake." "But Mira," Harlan said, stepping forward. "They've gathered their fleets. They've prepared. They think we're a threat. A real one." "I know," Mira said, "but that's exactly what we want them to think." She paused, her voice low but firm. We're going to end this without firing a single shot. When the time comes, we'll show them what it truly means to challenge Earth." The engineers in the room exchanged nervous glances, but they trusted Mira. She had never failed them. "Activate Phase 1, Mira ordered. The room went quiet as a series of commands were entered into the system. Within moments, Earth's entire defense network, once hidden deep beneath the surface, began to come online. Satellite weapons, hidden cloaking devices, and silent warships all activated in perfect coordination. But no one could see them. Not yet. Mira watched the holographic map of space. The countdown had begun. She knew the galaxy would soon be watching Earth. And when they did, there would be no mistake. Meanwhile, deep in the core empire, Salvor was about to receive the news that would change everything. He had spent hours in isolation, staring at the empty walls of his ship, trying to understand how a single human had shattered his pride. Duran entered, holding a datapad. "Commander, we have a report." Zalvor's eyes flicked up, his voice bitter. "What is it now?" Duran took a breath. "Earth has activated its defenses. Everything is in place. They're ready." Zalvor stood up, his fists clenched. "What are they planning?" Duran hesitated. "We don't know, but we've lost contact with the other empires. It's as if the galaxy is frozen." Zalvor's mind raced. He had underestimated Earth. But now he could feel the danger in the air. The humans weren't just waiting. They were preparing. Preparing to make the galaxy see the truth. Back on Earth, Mira stood tall as the final systems came online. She wasn't afraid. She wasn't worried. This was what she had trained for, what the team had worked for. The galaxy had laughed at Earth. Now it would know the price of that mistake. The last thing Mira did before she stepped away from the command center was activate the final phase of their plan. The signal. A single, untraceable signal sent directly into the heart of every major empire. A message from Earth. A message from Mira. "We have waited. We have prepared. Now you will see what happens when you underestimate us." The signal blinked into the darkness of space. It was simple, direct, and it would be heard across the galaxy. In the Galactic Council chambers, panic set in. The silence was broken only by the hum of equipment and the worried whispers of alien leaders. "Earth is making their move," said Velak, the Uran ambassador. "What do we do?" Zoltav, who had already prepared for this moment, stood up. "There is nothing we can do. Earth has taken control. We have lost." The council members stared in disbelief as their own systems began to go dark one by one. The human signal had already infiltrated their networks, and now there was nothing they could do to stop it. Back on Earth, Mira stood once again on the shores of the ocean, watching the waves crash. She knew the message had been sent. The power was now in the galaxy's hands, whether they wanted it or not. Earth had revealed its strength, and no one would ever underestimate them again.